is a very unique market. You have almost 80-90% of the schools, roughly 80-85%, which don't use digital in any which way, right? They're still on paper and pen. And then you have some evolved schools, which are like 15-20% of the whole set, right? They use different kind of technologies, different kind of solutions for their specific needs. For fees, they have something. For their accounting, they have something. For parent interaction, something, right? So what happens is with this pandemic, right, everything has changed for good, right? If you look at it, digital is not good to have. It's a must have for all the schools. If you look at their how they manage their students, how they manage to collect the fees, how they communicate with the parents, how they conduct online classes and exams, everything has to happen digital because there is no physical involvement now anymore, right? Now what is happening is those schools who were living off different solutions, right, it has become a humongous problem for them to manage everything, right? Information at one place has to be replicated at another, like the challenge which we had at the beginning of the call with the links, right? Sharing information becomes very difficult if you have multiple channels of engagement, of distribution, right? So there is where the school diary comes in, right, and gives them a very simple, easy one window solution, right, which is primarily driven by the mobile, where they can kind of do everything. They can manage their student information, they can engage and communicate with students and parents. um, they can collect their fees, display the outstanding to the parents, collect it, give them receipts, um, conduct online classes and assessment, shows the performance back to the student and report it to the parents. Everything and anything happen in one single window, and that too on the mobile. So that's where school diary comes in. And the icing on the cake is, for us, the solution is already live in many vernacular languages in India and outside India as well, right? So it becomes very easy for non-English speaking kind of parents and schools, right, to still use the digital in the right way, rather than just trying to cope up with a new challenge of understanding English, right? So there is where we are kind of coming in and providing them a very easy solution where they can do everything from a school standpoint and manage it. So we have different verticals within our business. You have pre-primary, you have K-12 schools, then you have bus tracking, and so on and so forth, right? Now, two of the verticals are severely hit. One is pre-primary, the preschools, the daycare market is completely shut off because nobody is the kids are at home, and teaching such a young kid digitally is a huge challenge for both the parent as well as the teacher. So that business is kind of since our customers are usually impacted, we are impacted as well. Secondly, bus tracking is a big business for us, but then if you look at it, no buses are moving, no schools are functioning, right? So that is impacted as well. In India, if you look at it, and especially the K-12 education, there are two broad challenges which we kind of hit, right? First is the school education has not gone through any transformation in last 50, 70, 80 years, right? And this is a story across the world, right? So same pedagogy, same methods, same content most of the time, and same way of assessing the kid has gone on for too long, right? The one challenge which we see is all the teachers and all the ecosystem which exists is completely geared towards this older method, right? So teachers and staff are not technically, if you look at it, savvy enough to adjust to this new ecosystem, new changes which are happening, right? Second, I see India needs to go through a mindset change where they kind of value productivity more than the human manpower which we have, right? So if you look at the Indian schools, right, which I understand very closely, right, are unwilling to pay or invest in technology-enabled systems, right? But depend on ki if there is a work to be done, I'll put 5 people to do it, right? Rather than technology doing it quickly and more efficiently for them, right? But later on realizing that the effort that they have spent manually ends up costing them more, right? So somehow the pandemic is kind of changing that mindset because the technology is now forced on them, right? If they are not adopting to technology now, their survival is at question, right? I feel the school should invest now in technology, with a long-term view, be it engagement, be it how they manage their data, be it how they communicate, be it how they create content and consume content, how they evaluate kids, everything they have to kind of make a roadmap, create keep aside some funds to kind of experiment in these new areas, because that is how they will kind of build their brand. That is how the new kids will learn more, because as you know, right, with national education policy kind of coming in, there are many aspects of education which are going to change, and without digital, it would be really difficult for schools to kind of cope up to that. So these are the two things which I think schools have to do to kind of digitally scale up. We got that question right in March itself, right? So lockdown happened nationwide on around 25th of March, right? We saw it coming in the last week of Feb, and everybody started working from home from March 2nd onwards, right? Because we could see, the mayhem which was coming our way. The good part was everybody was home with their families, sound and safe. That's what, everybody was kind of at a safe place when this kind of stuck. But the flip side is, since everybody is so remote and there is no physical connection, and the engagement which typically everybody was so used to, they were very digitally, there was a digital stress, as well as they were bored in what they were doing, right? So we have kind of countered this in two ways, right? First is, how to take the engagement or maintain the engagement while keeping down the boredom. So we started engaging them on non-work related calls, where we used to play games, engage them, talk to them, hear them out. What are the challenges specifically they are facing in their native places, as well as conduct one-on-one calls with each of them, right, to kind of assess their mental situation, see what challenges they are facing in their personal lives, and kind of try to help them out, right? So that was one. The second important aspect is keeping the financial well-being in check, right? Because people lost jobs left, right, and center. Everybody took a permanent salary cut, right? So we kind of ensured that everybody was drawing the same salary which they were drawing on 31st March 2020 for this year onwards. So there was not a cut, as well as whatever performance bonus, which is usually given based on the performance of an individual, was given to everyone 100%, irrespective of how their performance was. So that, they are afloat. They don't feel this as an economical challenge as well, because this already is a very emotional challenge for everybody involved, right? And that has worked well for us, because everybody has kind of been appreciative and productive, right? So they have, especially for a young teen like ours, everybody contributing more than what they were contributing while they were at office is a good positive sign. So these are some of the things which we did, on how to kind of keep everything intact. School Diary is actually live for almost 10 plus countries, right, across the world. And it is a made in India product, which is kind of finding acceptance and footprint in different countries, right, wherever we are going live, right? So our idea is pretty straightforward, right? We want to reach to 5 million users in next 3 years, and we expect more than 50% of those user base coming from international markets. So we are putting a lot of effort and energy in the Western markets, and we are seeing acceptance as well, and we hope that we'll scale up tremendously in the next 3 to 4 years, right? As we speak, right, we are already live in all four continents, right? South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia, right? And from Asia, if you look at it, right from Philippines to Oman on the other side of it, right? So the idea is to scale it further and take it to more and more countries, and kind of become the champion of this made in India story, going out and servicing the whole of world.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.